Hello and welcome to this review of another Kimera paints set. This is one of the little signature ones by Danilo Cartacci. So if you've seen my other video before about the base set, I thought they were great and very vivid colours and nice and matte and so on. Some of the minor issues I had with them were that they didn't have any few colours that I would particularly like, and I think I mentioned brown. You get two browns, grey and Caucasian skin. So this little set really, I think, complements the other one very nicely and fills up any deficits in that one. Of course, that one was designed being sort of all pure pigments that you can mix them and you can get any colour under the sun in the rainbow, but you know, sometimes you just want to pick up one from the shelf and start painting without having to muck around mixing all the time. And so those ones, particularly browns, greys and Caucasian skin, were the ones that I missed the most. So this potentially is the ideal complement, as previously absolutely beautifully presented. I love this little box. This guy Danilo Cartacci, I hadn't heard of him before, but I've since looked him up a bit on Google. He's published a book, a manual on miniature painting, and if you get a chance, have a look at his stuff on Instagram. It is absolutely superb, really inspiring, amazing figures that he's painted up there. So if I can get this thing open, I'll have a chance to show you what's inside. But yeah, his figures were absolutely beautiful, and quite a range of different eras. Some fantasy, lots of different historical eras as well. Here we go. Whew, got it open. Not for the faint-hearted. And it does have, well, here we go, some beautiful examples of painted figures there. I don't know if they're all by this guy, Danilo Cartacci, or not. He sounds like a great artist, doesn't he, from his name. And then, yeah, there's a nice instruction sheet about all sorts of things, including how to paint really nice skin there, I see. I enjoy reading through that in a bit more detail. There he is, the great man himself, Danilo Cartacci. And here we go, there's some of his magnificent work right there. Amazing stuff. So these colours are apparently, allegedly, are his favourites and he wouldn't want to be without. Let's check them out again in a bit more detail. So same size as the other guys at 30 mils, so bigger than your average paint set or paint bottle. There's another red, Cartacci red it's called, slightly darker, I'd say, richer sort of red than the one in the base set. So that'll be nice to try out. There's the Caucasian skin tone. It's a little tanned. It's good. It's sort of like a Mediterranean Caucasian skin rather than a pasty Northern European skin. Then you got two that are brown. So this one is the golden brown. So it's quite a light brown, yellowy brown almost, or yeah, anyway, light muddy brown. And then you got the kiwi brown, which is a bit more khaki, bit more green to it. So none of them, still sort of ideally I would want a kind of a wood browny colour, which you probably get nicely by mixing those two together, I imagine. I'll give that a shot when we're up and running. And then you've got this one called Samurai Green, which is very nice. Not the kind of colour I use a lot in miniatures. It's a bit similar to the ones I've used for the Etruscans, although that's a little more blue. Anyway, it's a nice green to have. I do have quite a dark green in the base set, so that's quite a good contrast. And then the light grey, silver grey they call, which should be a really useful colour. Yeah, that'll be excellent for sort of base coating steel and that sort of thing, as well as perhaps contrasting with white, as shown on this Napoleonic figure here. I presume they've used some grey there. I have to read the little manual here. So I've got a few figures I'm intending to try these with, purely these, plus I'll use some of the black and the white obviously to change their shades. I'll just grab the figures that I want to demonstrate these on. So here's the ones I prepared for this job. So this Gaul, he can have the skin tone, obviously got plenty of exposed flesh there, and I'll probably use this green for his trousers, maybe green and red stripes. That could be quite cool. We'll try that out on him. The red, who better to be a red, show off this red, than a Spartan. So his cloak will be all in this red, or you know, that'll be the predominant colour with a bit of highlighting and a bit of darkening. And then I've got an Etruscan by Agema, and I thought to use that one. I was kind of thinking that was more of a light blue, but it's actually a green. So I have to rethink that. I might use it on him anyway, or maybe I'll do another Gaul. Anyway, I will get to work on some of these guys, and I'll just give you snippets of how I'm going rather than make you sit through the whole damn thing like I did on the first review of the Kimera Colors paints. Anyone who sat through all that, apologies. Anyone who hasn't, have a look at the highlights. I'll put a link to the description below, and I'll be back soon with some work on these guys. Here's the first progress report. So basically I've used that Cartacci red on here on the cloak, and I've gone with a little bit of white to lighten it, and then done a bit of highlighting. I haven't shaded that one yet. The tunic, I used the brown, I think the two browns mixed together from memory. I just wonder if I put a little bit of red in, I can't remember, but anyway, it's come up with sort of orangey yellow colour, which is not what I was aiming for. I was aiming for more of a light tanny, off sort of whitey brown colour. I like this colour, but so it wasn't quite what I was looking for. And I've also used the Caucasian flesh on him and given it a wash, but I'll show you more about that with this Barbarian. So yeah, all over with the Caucasian skin, which is an excellent colour. It's nice and creamy, comes out well. It's not too light, not too dark. I don't know that I could distinguish it, to be honest, from this nice Scale 75, this nice Reaper Master Series paint, or this nice Citadel skin colour. I think they're all good. It's certainly no worse. It's probably one of my favourite skins, but it's not anyway in a league of its own. I have washed it then. I wasn't sure how to do a wash, make up a wash. I'm trying to do these figures only utilising this set, so I mixed. Well, first off, I went online and had a look on the Facebook page for Kimera Colors and put a question, how do you do washes? And straight away someone came back with a very light red glaze first, and then followed by a darker wash with a bit of brown, a bit of black, which I've done. I let the red glaze dry for a few hours between, and I'm not really thrilled with it. It's just kind of looks a bit dirty all over, to be honest. So I will have to keep experimenting with that and try to come up with a better mixture for a wash, given the same to this guy. Cartacci red looks great. The skin with that wash looks just a bit on the dirty side. Once I highlight it, it might come back to being good, but I'll just show you a guy who I have put the skin colour on without washing it. So that's the actual colour of the skin. So yeah, it's a nice Caucasian skin. This guy, I've used one of the browns, the kiwi brown predominantly, and I put a tiny bit of black to darken that for his trousers, so they're looking quite good. Okay, I'll muck around a bit more. Progress report number 2. So I've done a wash on the skin now, and I did the red glaze first and then the dark wash, which you're probably laughing at me, and clearly the wrong way around, so it didn't look that great. And then I did the highlighting here, which just still a bit of a dog's breakfast, to be honest. His face looks half decent, but the rest of his body looks a bit crap, I reckon. Let's show you the other guys. Not very happy with how I've done that one. This one, the skin, because he's got so little skin on view, it's kind of, you get away with it there. More skin. This boy, same story really. He's just got his hands and his face. The face doesn't look quite so bad, but it's still got that sort of dirty colour to it. This guy, who I did in a skin before, I've then gone and done him in the correct way around. So I've done the dark wash first and then the red glaze, And the red glaze, I've obviously put too much on his face because it just looks crazily red. And I try to put a little bit in his hand, between his fingers, which someone suggested, but it doesn't look that good. I think it's better off with just a dark wash between the fingers. Probably a little bit of this red wash, but I'm just not convinced about making washes out of these paints. I certainly haven't cracked it, but I haven't been trying for very long, so maybe if you persevere, get there. I sort of got to the point though, I just figured, well, why not just use tried and true things that I know work. So I've just gone back to the nice old army painter washes. Bit of blue and green wash on his trousers there, which I think looks pretty good. Bit of red wash on both these nice Cartacci red cloaks for the Spartan and the Etruscan. And yeah, so I'll press on. Oh yeah, and I use the army painter light, the light tone wash on this guy as well. All his clothing. Okay, I'll forge on. Here we are, the final stage. So I'll show you the finished figures and then just give you my impression of each of the different colour paints that we've got. So that's the Gaul. Came out quite well in the end. I had a few issues with his skin, but all's well that ends well. This guy, the Spartan, is one of the better ones, I think. Certainly that red, Cartacci red, is beautiful colour. And in the end, the tunic, sort of orangey colour, I quite like that. Who we got next? Let's have another Gaul with similar coloration. So he's got a lot of that golden brown in his clothing. Then we'll have the Etruscan. So he did have the samurai green for the little tiny bits of his tunic poking out, and I think that works quite well. Normally used a light blue, but that's gone nicely with him. This one is a bonus one. I didn't start off doing him, but I've come back to him and I've used some of the blue actually from the main set, but a little bit of the samurai green as well mixed in with that. And then who else we got? The Carthaginian to come up next as well. Get him up, and he's come up pretty well too. So as you know, I did go back and do a few regular washes from like Army Painter, just because they work so well, and I couldn't really crack these for washes. But otherwise, almost all of these bits are done purely with the Danilo Cartacci paints, and they're good. They're very good. Let me just go through every single one, and I'll give you my final conclusions of them. One other guy just to show the cloak there, using the browns in this one. That's mostly that kiwi brown, which looks quite nice done like that. It's almost got a leathery appearance to it. Get them off and I'll go through the paints. They're a nice complement to the original set. They, as I've originally said, I think I would have preferred they had a wood brown rather than two kind of similar browns. So that one I do quite like. That's a nice brown. That's the golden brown. The kiwi brown I'm not a big fan of, mostly because the colour's alright, but it just the consistency is not so great, doesn't spread so well. So a bit of a thumbs down on that one. That's the one that should have been the wood brown in my humble opinion. This colour is nice, samurai green, so maybe if you're doing Asian armies or fantasy stuff it might be more useful, not so good for kind of Mediterranean classical era ones. The grey is a good light grey. I would have preferred a slightly darker grey, but yeah, it's very easy to add a bit of black to it. And then you've home and hosed. The skin, as I said before, perfectly good, no better around, not amazing, not world breaking, but very good. And the Cartacci red, very nice red, goes well, sort of complements with the original one in the base set. So yeah, overall I'm happy to have got this to add to my other Cartacci or Kimera paints, I should say. And there is that other big set, the expansion set number 1, Colours of Nature, which has lots of browns and greens and yellows and so on. I don't think I'll get that because there are very many similar looking paints, and really I don't need them, so I'll forget about that one. And there you go. I haven't had much feedback on the other Kimera colours. I guess there's so many great paints out there. People not really on people's radars, but interested to see what you think if you've got them or whether you're intending to. Okie dokie. Hope that's useful, and I will see you not too far away with another video. See ya.